Good evening, welcome to A Foreigner in the Philippines. I'm looking at, there's a different report on YouTube, and what's coming through is that YouTube apparently are thinking of separating YouTube for adults from YouTube for children. And I'm just wondering how on earth this is going to work and what we're going to lose. So in other words, for any channel that's out there that is anything to do with family, how on earth will they be able to separate that so that the essence of family, which is father, mother, children, nieces, nephews, brothers, sisters, how will all of this be saved so that we are not tied into the same draconian solutions that we have in the airports, which I've touched on once before. For instance, because of the various, and let's face it, in the millions of people that are traveling the world at any given moment, what we've got is we've got a few people relative to the number of people that are traveling, have travelled, or do travel, intend to travel, are travelling right at this moment. The nutcases that have tried to hurt the rest of us who are trying to lead just a normal life, they have changed the face of travel forever. For instance, right now I could pull into an airport somewhere in the world and have to remove my shoes. Now, this I think was because of one absolute lunatic who looked like a lunatic who had some explosives in his shoes. Now, I'm not laughing at this because it's funny, but almost in despair that could then trigger a whole policy of where, okay, that's not a problem, everybody just take their shoes off. And then the other, I actually saw the pictures of that particular man that applies to, and he actually really did look strange. You know, you wouldn't have to be like one of these customs officers who looks at someone, and as soon as he looks at them, they start going. And he says, "We'd like to give you a full body search, sir." I'm guilty. I mean. And so that guy really did look like he might have a bomb in his shoes. And yet, a little while later, we find, and I'm sure that some of you will remember this. This is, I'm drawing from my very cloudy memory, which is soaked in cotton wool. A lady in either her late 70s or early 80s was pulled in for a full body search, which was completely groundless. Apparently it was not that famous psychic who was on the thing who said, old lady, big danger, get her in there. No, it wasn't him. It was somebody else that said, is that I better pull somebody in, so you're how old? It doesn't matter, love, just get in the search room. So somebody suffered to that degree because of perhaps one or two people. And now here we are in a social media which has been based on everybody sharing just the most innocent pictures and images and accounts and little snippet videos of kids. I mean, just think about all of the videos that you can watch showing how incredible dogs are with babies. Well, I mean, what's a pervert going to make of that? And yet, the rest of us normal thinking people are looking and saying, oh my God, isn't that cute? What about the other things of, it just defies logic that people showing photographs of, I don't know, kids falling over in the funniest way. Are we going to have those taken out? Is that going to be something that the perverts will not be allowed to comment on? I did like the way he fell down. And are we all going insane because of this? Are we going to lose a vital part of our lives because of a few nutcases? You know, here in the Philippines, compared to in the West, if a man sits down on a park bench and enjoys watching a load of kids at play, can actually be pulled in and arrested. So you're doing what, sir? You're enjoying watching children, really? So let's go into that a little bit more, shall we? And that can happen. Here, despite all of the bad press that some perverted expats have been caught doing, despite all of that, the average Filipino is proud of their child, and if you look at a child and smile, you're not the devil incarnate. They look at you and they smile and they know exactly where you're coming from, that this is a cute kid. And if you look at a child and say to the mother or the father, you're a lucky person to have such a child, they don't think that you're absolutely stark, staring, evilly mad. So there's still some essence of sanity here, where children are not automatically afraid if an adult that they don't know says hello to them. Now, I'm not saying that no child ever gets hurt. I'm not saying that, well, there is a case for being very careful about who or what or when or you actually watch an adult interacting with a child he doesn't know. Obviously there are going to be people who are out of the norm. Well, for instance, I don't go around murdering people, but I could. But people don't walk past me saying, oh, there's a murderer if I ever saw one. And it reminds me a little, I may, just to lighten it up a little bit, a little joke. This lady who is married to an avid fisherman, when he decides that he is going to go to a lakeside cabin with some other friends and they're going to go fishing in the lake, and it's going to be a joyful time for them. Well, the wives get together and say, instead of letting them go, why don't we all go together, and we'll have some dinners and we'll get together. It's not going to be fishing for 24/7, let's face it. So they go. Well, the lady in question, the wife in question, is an avid book reader, so she takes some books with her. And on one particular day, when the guys are watching their other passion, which is American football, she decides she's going to take herself off. And she takes herself off to the middle of the lake, and she's sitting there reading her book. away from the noise of the football on TV and the shouts and the yells and the all that business, right? And she sat there and she's very peacefully in the boat and she's reading her book. And another boat cruises up next to her, and the man flashes a badge, and he is from the Forestry Commission, and he says, "Excuse me, ma'am, can I see your license?" And she said, I haven't got a license." I said, but you've got all of the fishing gear, so I'm afraid that I'm going to have to give you a citation. She said, "I'm not fishing. I'm reading my book. I don't fish. I don't like to fish." He said, "Well, yes, but sorry, ma'am, I'm just doing my job. You know, all of the gear is here. Everything that you need to fish is right here. So I have to give you a citation. So I'm going to have to write you up on this." So she said, "I understand, sir, but let me just make a point to you that when we get back to shore, I am going to file a charge against you for rape." I said, "Ma'am, we both know that I haven't made any improper suggestions to you. I didn't rape you." She said, "No, but you've got all the equipment with which to do it." She was not cited after all. And what are we doing here on Facebook? Sorry, YouTube. Facebook will probably eventually get infected with this madness too. So what are we doing? Well, I understand if children, this is the thing, look, I understand that there might be a case where autoplay should be abandoned. Autoplay, in case you didn't know, and I only learned this myself a little while ago, is that a child, even under close supervision, can be set up by mum and dad to watch a video, I don't know, the SquarePants Bob or whatever his name was, or something like that, which is just for children. And they set the child up, and the child is very, very happy. And then autoplay might bring on something that is quite sinister, and without supervision, the child may actually be watching something which is damaging, and I understand that. So maybe autoplay has to go. But other than that, I don't want to be in a position where I can't, even when it's someone I don't even know, I can't watch a happy family at play, at celebration, at Christmas, at Thanksgiving, at just anybody's birthday, finding joy in family with everything that means. Mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, everybody interacting in the normal way with children. Now, why can't we just get real clever and find out a way that we can get these sickos out of our lives? And I'm sure that that's possible. That's my thought on it. Meantime, for people like me and Beth, who are being crippled by not being able to have our comments enabled, why can't we disable our own comments and review them? Tell you the truth, when my comments were on, that's what I did every morning anyway. I went through my comments, and if there were any nasties, and out of a typical day of comments, I might find two or three that had no place on my feel-good channel. Why can't we be entrusted to do that? Because people like me, people like Beth, people like any one of the families who are showing their family at play and in normal interactions with the world, do not want to have any comments on their sites, on their channels, which are offensive to anybody. So, let's get real and let's get adult about the whole thing from start to finish, so that we're not crippling everybody. I'd hate to use that throwing the baby out with the bathwater way of describing it, but perhaps that is really good. We're throwing the child out with the ordinary videos is what we're doing. So, YouTube, come on, wise up please, straighten up. This is a foreigner in the Philippines. Just my opinion. Bye for now.